What's up, traders? This is Matt with Conservative Trades coming at you with another episode in the Paper Trade Diaries. Today I'm looking at a stock here. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the markets today. Of course, we've got, let's see, where am I at here? Okay, there we go. First of all, let me just go ahead and say, in case it dips down there, I've got an order in here at THCB to purchase 500 shares at 20.80. And I'm going to have a stop right down here below 19.80. So I'm going to be risking $500 today on this stock. But I really believe that there's a great potential for this stock to skyrocket, and I'll go over why here in a minute. But back to my original point here, there's just been a lot of craziness in the market today. Some small caps that looked like they were really going to skyrocket. Still keeping an eye on Workhorse, by the way. This is one that I called last week as a good potential swing trade. It did get up to the 40s as I had talked about and predicted the day prior. We had broken through $30, $31. I posted the video last week. You can go back and check it out. But I did predict. I thought it was actually going to go up to 40 that day, but it didn't. It ended up going up into the 40s the day after. And it's just kind of been whipping back and forth a little here, but looks like it still could potentially move up, especially if the fundamentals seem to stay strong on it. So, but that's for another video. I might actually do a video on Workhorse. It's not a stock that I'm super bullish on, but again, I think short term it still has great potential to to move up. So anyway, with that being said, still watching some of these stocks here, just GameStop and AMC even. I was watching that a little bit earlier. I mean, this stuff is very interesting to me, but they're stocks that I am not going to be touching. I have absolutely zero interest in this right now. I think anybody getting in on GameStop or AMC or BlackBerry, whatever, I think right now it's more of a gamble than anything, and it's going to be more gambling than it is trading. So I'm staying away from that. I've been watching NEO here on the side. I've been watching MRNA, of course. It's had a pretty nice run up. It's double topping right now on the daily, but I think it's very possible that it does find some support here and continues moving up. But right now, THCB. So, okay, you can see it took my order there. And let's see, the break of 1980 would be basically the break of low of day, and that's where I would want to get out. But this newer strategy, so you can see there, it took my order. So I got in, here, let me just type this in real quick. Let's see, I bought 500 shares long at 20.80. Okay, and I'm going to be holding on to that and looking for that to increase or get up a lot higher today. I am going to put my stop right down here at low of day at the break of 1980, right? And even this line, let's see, where does it really go? 1982, 1. Yeah. So if it gets down to 82, I'll go ahead and set it to let it go. Because if I let it go all the way down to 1980, it's probably going to have major slippage. So we'll say 1982. That's where I'm going to put my stop in. And I may get some slippage. We'll see. I'll look at the chart patterns here on the 1 minute. Typically, you can see, when there's like major drops or if it opens up, super low below a certain point. So anyway, again, we are paper trading here, so you kind of have to play the rules, or work the system a little differently. You have to understand that you don't necessarily have level 2. I mean, if you're sim trading, you do. I am paper trading. I'm paper trading on TradingView, as you can tell, and so without having access to level 2. I mean, this is a free version of TradingView, so. I don't know where the spreads are. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a way to tell. If you guys know, let me know in the comments if there's a way for me to tell, how much of a spread I have here or whatever. But anyway, sometimes you have to just look at the chart to assume where you might have realistically gotten out at, right? And so anyway, I am going to put a stop here at 1982. But if we go here to FinViz right now, so Tuscan Holdings, first of all, it's showing here on FinViz, and I know FinViz isn't always accurate, but it's showing here basically right at 1 million share float. Okay, so it's a low float. It's gapping up on some good news here. There's been a merger, and it's got a 29%, basically a 30% short float interest. So That right there is interesting to me because that is enough to squeeze some people out. There, there could be a short squeeze, and with everything that we've seen here lately, with GameStop and all these other ones. I mean, this could be one of those sympathy type plays, just on the sentiment of being involved with the short squeeze. Now, obviously, GameStop had like 140% short float interest. It was way more than this, but I have noticed in the past that, anytime stocks have anywhere from really, 30 to 40, maybe even 50, 60%, that can always make for good short squeeze territory, especially if it's got a lower float, right? And when I say lower float, I mean typically, less than 100 million shares, right? Maybe 200 to 300 million shares, but typically these short squeezes happen on lower float stocks, and that typically falls around 100 million or less, right? So I don't know. I'm feeling like we may have some good opportunity here. Now I could be wrong, but I've got my stop in there, so I'm not worried about being wrong. I've got my stop in there, and I'm risking $500 on 500 shares, basically $1 a share. And I'm risking that because I think that it could pump up and, get much, much higher today. And I'm going to be willing to let this go to maybe up to, I don't know, 23, 24, maybe even let it get close to $25. I may begin gradually scaling out of my position, when it hits 23, when it breaks high of day. So we'll see how this plays out. But instead of just recording this super long video, I'm going to go ahead and pause right here, and I'll start the video back later when it seems to be, when it either gets my stop, gets me out of my stop, or when it breaks high of day and I'm able to start piecing out of the trade. Okay, we'll see you then. Okay, what's up, traders? I'm just checking back in on the price action here. So you can see that it had come all the way down to here, down to 2011, and I moved my stop up here. Why? Because it got bought up off that 20 exponential moving average, came all the way back up and recovered the 9. And this is the point where you would think that it could make that final push and start building momentum to the upside. Now, obviously, we're dealing with low volume here, so that may not be the case, but I think that as long as it maintains above that 20 moving average, and this is now kind of the new lower high. So it hit a low down here, and we came down and formed a higher low. And so I think in this period of consolidation, it should maintain a higher low and should maintain that 20 moving average. And so if it does not, I have now moved my stop up to 2008. So now I'm risking roughly, I don't know, maybe $350, something like that. So we'll see. I'll go ahead and pause the video again, and I'll check back in with you later. All right, so we are back, and you can see that it never came back down to 2008. It has continued to ride these moving averages up. I actually had zoomed out on the 30-minute, I believe it was, and I was just kind of watching this, and I was thinking about, if it cracks through here, it may be a place where I would want to think about getting out. So had that had happened, I probably would have raised my stop to 2020 or 2030, and would have taken a probably a 200 and some dollar loss maybe. But as you can see, it's now excuse me, it's now double topped here on the daily. So it's like I told you guys before. I mean, this just it's got short squeeze written all over it. It could go up extremely high, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to start taking off a couple hundred shares now. So actually, as a matter of fact, so it just broke over 23. So I'd like to give it an opportunity to bust up to 23.80. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put in a stop of 200 shares at 22.80. So that means that, and we'll go over here on the 1 minute. So that means if it comes down to 22.80, I'm going to go ahead and get out, and I'll raise it up to 22.90 just to account for slippage. I'll go ahead and get out 200 shares, and that'll be, I guess, at about, that'll get me at about a $400 profit on that. Let's see here. Okay, and it looks like it's going to get my first 200 shares out there at 23.80. We'll see. There it is, shot right up to 23.89. So first, okay, so we got 500 long at 20.80. Removed first 200 at 23.80 for $600 profit. That's $3 a $3 move on 200 shares. So I'm going to look at the 5-minute here, see what we're showing here on the 5-minute. And I really do. I feel like this could test $25. I mean, it could skyrocket up really high past this point. But I mean, look at this volume. But I would safely just take off the other 300 shares at 24.80. So I'm going to move this up to 24.80. And that's where I will remove the last 300 shares. Now, I know most people would say, hey, you know, just take off another 200 and hold on to the 100 and see what happens. But, you know, we're nearing the, nearing the 2:30 hour here. So the market's going to be closing in another hour and a half. And, you know, honestly, if this, kind of ramps up and then ends up pulling all the way back down and, turning into an overnight swing trade, it's just not something I'm going to be interested in. You know, day traders, we as day traders like to get out during the day, in and out during the day. And so, I'll consider this a really nice profit. This will be a $4 move on 300 shares. That's $1,200 plus the 500 will put me up $1,700 on the day if it makes it there. And again, my initial stop loss would have been about $500. So this puts me at almost, not quite, but almost a 4-to-1 profit loss ratio. And there we go. It took me out. So let's see. Removed last 300 shares at 24.80 for 1,200. So 1,200 plus 600. So yeah, we are up 1,800 on the day. Okay, so so guys, this is another episode of the Paper Trade Diaries. I'm just focused on right now just creating a strategy that allows for longer holds throughout the day. Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you on the flip side.